Welcome back. I'm Sylvia Hartman, the creator of Modern Energy, and today we're going to talk about antidepressants. And I'm going to try to make it not depressing if I can. It's a big challenge, but we shall see how it will go. All right. So I came across this picture with statistics on the amount of antidepressants that various people are being prescribed, shall we say. That's actually an important distinction when we're talking about antidepressants. There's statistics that talk about antidepressant users and the people who take antidepressants, as though they were like a market or shopping people. But we need to be keeping clear in mind that the people, these users, they are being prescribed antidepressants. They're going to their doctor and they're saying something's wrong with them, and they walk away with a prescription for antidepressants. They're told to take them so that they make them feel better. To call them users is really missing the mark to an epic degree. So yeah, there's this lovely set of statistics about how many people are taking antidepressants. And Korea, they have the least amount of people who take them. But I found out a little bit later that the suicide rate in Korea is also much higher than everywhere else. So whether there's a correlation there, I wouldn't want to say. So I'm not saying that antidepressants don't have their place in treatment at all. That's something else we need to put up front here, is that I'm not against the taking of antidepressants if a person really needs them. I would like to talk about something else in that respect. So here's our statistics, and I dug a little bit in this article, and I found the original article, and these statistics, they're from 2016. In 2016, somebody went out and did this study and got worried about the increase in the prescriptions of antidepressants. And now here it becomes, of course, interesting. First of all, I mean, there's so many things you could say about this. 2016, people were worried about the increase of the prescription of antidepressants. Man, in 2014, I was so worried about the stress levels in the society that I wrote a book about it, The $1 Trillion Stress Solution. I was really worried in 2014, you know. So if the antidepressants were on the rise back then, what are they like now? I wondered, and tried to find the statistics for 2022 or 2023, if there were any published. And I found a UK government health site. And when you clicked on the button, it took you to a page where you could demand public information request. You could submit an information request to see these statistics. So rather than publishing them so that you can just see them, you have to submit an information request. I went, wow, that's amazing. And really, I mean, all these things, they're just a can of worms. But on the original study from 2016, so pre-pandemic that was, our friends who conducted this study made the following comments about why they thought the use of antidepressants was on the rise. And that really was quite mind-blowing. So the OECD suggests two possible reasons. The rate of antidepressant consumption is on the rise in so many countries. This is because the treatments last longer than they used to, but also that antidepressants are now prescribed not only for severe depression, but also for mild depression, anxiety, social phobia, and more. Okay. This here is the key insight to me, is that antidepressants are now being prescribed for all manner of emotional problems. Problems with emotions. There was another little thing there that I'd like to read out as well while we're here. Spending long periods of time on antidepressants actually aligns with international guidelines for treatment. The World Health Organization recommends that people continue taking antidepressants at least 9 to 12 months after they've recovered. Wow. Wowza. Oh my. Yeah, I said try not to make this too depressing as we're talking about antidepressants. But what we have here, basically and essentially, what we have here is the original problem that permeates all of modern Western type technology mechanical medicine, which is that they really honestly do not have any idea how to deal with people's emotions. They have no idea how to deal with people's emotions. They know nothing about emotions. They know nothing about emotional stress. And that is, stress, proper stress. Nobody, is surprised if somebody works 18 hours a day, doesn't eat properly, doesn't sleep properly, and then has a breakdown. That's perfectly to be expected if you overstress your physical body and you don't give it the rest and the nutrition and what it needs to actually continue to function. We don't need to talk about nutritional stress, sleep stress, overworked stress. The real stress, the invisible stress, is the emotional stress. And for that, your doctor doesn't have anything at all to answer that problem of living in stressful situations and having natural responses to being stressed than to prescribe an antidepressant. That's it. I mean, that's all the doctor has. I can't blame them for that. I can't blame them for that. If all your tools consist of a single hammer, of course, every problem is a nail. And this is not mental health or ill health either, because mental health begins to disintegrate under stress. The more stress a person is under, and the longer the stress goes on and the more chronic the stress becomes, the more crazy they become in turn, the more their mental health suffers. They lose the ability to concentrate, to focus. They got all sorts of things jumping into their mind. They lose control of their internal representations. And at the higher end of stress, they will show all the signs that are associated with schizophrenia. It's a stress thing. For the vast majority of people, it's simply a matter of stress. And so I am here and I am offering a free introduction to modern stress management. It's called 7 Tips for Happiness. And it is a beginner's modern stress management package system program in a nutshell, condensed down to just a few pages that anybody can easily read and easily implement in their own lives. Understanding where stress comes from, that it is an emotional thing. Understanding that emotions are our true sixth sense who are trying to tell us of the conditions of our living energy body is the absolute key to changing the way we think about ourselves, think about our own emotions, that we stop being so confused by them, that they become, clear, reasonable, logical to understand. And that is the number one step, the first step anyone has to take to start looking after their own mental health in a better way. You need to be energy higher. You need to be happier, is the other word for that, in order to get out of chronic, everlasting stress. And this is possible. It's not even that hard. And even if you are currently taking antidepressants, you can absolutely still enact every one of those simple 7 steps towards taking a hold of your stress and reducing the impact of stress on your mind, your body, and your spirit. And that is super, super important. So, what we see here time and time again, the rise of suicides, the rise of depression, the rise of anxiety, people freaking out, the Karen syndrome, which is on the modern energy chart, the -7, when somebody's completely lost control of their emotions. All of these things that are absolutely plaguing our societies and eroding our ability to think straight or to come up with long-term positive solutions. All of those things are affected by stress. None of these things can be cured by giving more and more people more and more antidepressants. The only people who benefit from this, well, I'll just let that sentence trail off. So I said I didn't want to be too depressing, and I am trying not to be here, because the fact is that simply understanding that we do have this living energy body, that it produces our emotions, that are emotions, feelings in the physical body that have no physical origin, that these feelings can be as powerful and as strong as any type of physical pain, and to start looking after our living energy bodies a little bit better. And most of all, to really, that's so important to me, is to say no to stress. It is not normal or natural to be stressed all the time. We've been told that this is so, that there's good stress, but that's absolutely a lie. There's stress or there's happiness. And happiness comes in increasing severity. That leads towards better mental health, better emotional health. Yeah, and I'd like to finish with a little video that I made, interestingly enough, also in 2016. This was a person who was not my client. It's just a person who saw the modern energies chart and started to understand what was actually going on with their own emotions in their lives, and started to take just simple steps. They didn't enroll in any training programs. They didn't sit there and tap all day. They just became aware of how stress worked in their own lives just by, looking at a modern energy chart, essentially. And over 1 year, this person took a lot less medication. They took less sleeping pills, they took less painkillers, and they took less antidepressants. And at the end of the year, they came around to my house and they gave me a sack of the pills less taken. And my aspect back then was just so shocked by the sheer amount of them that she made a little video and tipped that black garbage bag out on the floor in the studio. So, look, I'm not saying to stop your medication or anything like that. What I am saying is to be of good cheer. understanding your emotions better is just a wonderful way to feel better in yourself, about other people, and it creates a foundation for a better life in the future. Download 7 tips for happiness. Take them seriously. Discuss them with friends or family. Please show people the modern energy chart. Hang it up where everybody can see it, so that you begin to understand how stress works in your life, how it works in your family, how it affects the things you feel, you think, you do, you say to yourself and to others. And let's make a start on a path forward to a more reasonable way of understanding our emotions and dealing with them in a much more proactive and loving fashion. And that will bring many positive benefits, not just to your life, but to everyone else you talk to, you interact with. We're just simply better people when we are happier, and not so chronically stressed and chronically depressed. So with that, there's lots of videos on my channel to explain this more. There are lots of exercises, energy exercises that can make you feel better. And I would like to leave us all just with the heart position, which is just super, super useful to stabilize yourself in a moment of crisis. Just point to the place where you would say, this is me, this is I. Put your leading hand over that spot and the other hand over the top. Take a deep breath in and out, and a few more. And just take a moment to come back to yourself, to your body, to calm down, to stabilize. And what really helps is to think of something that you love. Love is real. Our emotions are real. They're predictable. They're logical. And that, I hope, is then the way forward for us all into a better, more reasonable future where more people can be happier. With that, I wish you all the very best on your path and your journey. Be kind and loving to yourself. Take good care, and know that there will be star moments in the future for you. There will be, with lots of love from me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.